This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, there we go. We need to do these more frequently so I remember what to do. That'll just help us with anybody who missed it. We can share the recording with them and they can see what went on. So I wanted to show you that this is an example page of what our 3-year Mental Health Services Act program and expenditure plan looks like. And it's got a lot of words. And then at the back of the document is a lot of data. We've got all kinds of reports and charts and all sorts of things that help show what these different programs do and the results that we've had in all these different programs. So we were asked by the Mental Health, Alcohol, and Drug Advisory Board to restructure this to make it a little bit more user-friendly. So we were excited to hear that feedback. And so here's what this is what it used to look like, and this is what we are proposing that it will look like moving forward. And as you can see, it's a tall page instead of a long page now, but it includes the name of the program, the budget, where that budget money comes from, if it's not all from MHSA, who the program serves, in this case it's people 18 and older following a mental health crisis, and then the number of people served. So it lists what the program does, and they wanted us to just do those in bullet points. It's a lot easier for people to just see and digest that information. It's got the 3-year goals, and we have those listed by letters. In this situation, we have A, B, and C. Some other programs might have more letters than that. And then in year 1, each of these goals is going to correspond with, each of these achievements, is going to correspond with the 3-year goal. So this goal, this was an achievement that happened that was connected with that goal. And then we are looking to next year. So when you look at this document, you can see what we plan to do in the next year. And those goals will also correspond to the 3-year goal. So they're like kind of mini progress, not mini, they're usually really big, but jumps toward achieving that 3-year goal. And then we usually have most of our programs have big data reports in the back, but we were asked to just grab one example. We're going to continue to have the big reports in the back of the document, but to bring one of them that felt like it was important for people to know just right off the bat and bring that right into the page. So people don't have to go back to look at all the data. They can just see, for example, and this is just an example, but this is an example of the number of admits by month for our crisis residential and recovery center for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So you can see, just at first glance, anybody who was looking at the report could see that it stayed pretty steady. We're a little bit lower than right now in August 21 than we were the prior year at the same time. There are probably lots of reasons for that. So that's essentially what we're planning to do. And so our next steps for that would be for, excuse me, for my team to connect with all of the people in HHSA that are in charge of these programs. We do the administrative side, but there are people all over our agency doing these projects. And so, for example, with this one, we would reach out to the person in charge of the Crisis Residential and Recovery Center and ask them to provide us with all of this information so that we can put it into our big report and share it with all of you. Does that make sense? Do you feel like this is a little easier to understand, or will be easier for the general public to understand, especially if they're not super familiar with government programs or MHSA? Kinda. Okay.
This is Terry. I think it would be a simpler approach, of course, is good for everyone on any level to be able to interpret the information. So I think it is helpful. Yes.
All right, great. Thank you, Terry. And welcome. I didn't welcome you when you first jumped in the door. I'm sharing my screen, and so I can only see initials. So thank you for shouting it out there. Okay, so we will move forward with that. I'm going to close all those tabs, and now we're going to get back to our agenda, which is an update on our new innovations projects. So we have been, if you are familiar with county government, I probably only have to say the word, we're working on the contracts in order to kind of strike fear in your heart, because it's a very complicated process. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. A contract can take a long time because we just want to make sure that we're really capturing in that scope of work what that provider is going to be doing for us. And it helps us hold folks accountable and all of that. So I'll start with our Hope Park project. We are hoping, no pun intended, that goes to the board on February 8th. We're very, very close. And that's the project where the stakeholders, boy, I want to say it was probably 2 years ago now. It was a long time ago, where we started to talk about what groups of people need us the most right now. What are some of our community challenges that we can help maybe address through an innovations project? And there were two things that rose to the top. One was we have a very high rate of adverse childhood experiences in kids, and we also have a large population of older adults. And sometimes those older adults can really experience a lot of loneliness, which can lead to depression and anxiety and things of that nature. So the stakeholder group, it was back when we did it in person, so it was quite some time ago, that group said, well, couldn't we do something that involves both of those groups of people? So we put out a request for proposals and said, who has an idea for, or who has a plan? It's more than an idea. They had to submit a project that addressed both of those issues. And so the project that was selected was the Hope Park project, and it was presented by Pathways to Hope for Children. What that's going to do is it's going to put a pilot project in the Anderson Teen Center with the capacity to expand into Reading after he finds a location and does some legwork on that, to pair older adults with kids for high adventure activities. They're not all going to be high adventure activities, but rather than the Pathways to Hope for Children executive director described it as, often when kids and older adults are put together, it's in a context of, a kindergarten class might go to a residential care home to sing Christmas songs or something like that, where the kids are going to the older adults, and the older adults are not as active maybe as some other people might be. In this situation, everybody's going to the teen center and they're working together with homework help and with, learning how to cook and learning all these sharing these skills with each other. We might have, the kids may end up teaching the older adults, this is how you FaceTime your grandson, and, activities like that that'll help those two groups of populations bond a little bit. And then they're also going to do some high adventure activities where things like whitewater rafting and zip lining, and of course it wouldn't be required for our older adults. We don't want anybody to get hurt or to feel uncomfortable, but some folks are super into that. So we are pretty excited for that project to move forward. There's so much to it, and there is more information about it on our MHSA website. I'm going to take a quick pause right now. Nicole's asking me, somebody's trying to join our meeting, so she needs the address. It's not wanting me to do this. Okay, well, we'll wait for a second. So that's that one. The other one is the Psychiatric Advanced Directives, and I'm going to do my best to explain that in a simple way, but it's taken me a long time to wrap my mind around what it is and how it works and what we're going to be doing. So forgive me if I'm going to try and make it as unconfusing as possible. So a Psychiatric Advanced Directive is like a general advanced directive where it states what you or your family member wants to have happen if they find themselves in mental health crisis and not able to make sound decisions on their own behalf. So basically it would say, if I am picked up on a 5150 hold, or if I go into the hospital and I'm having, a mental health crisis, that this Psychiatric Advanced Directive either police officer or a hospital employee or a crisis counselor or anybody who has that authority could look and see my psychiatric advance directive. So they would know what it is that I want to have happen to me if I am unable to make that decision at that time. I'm making those decisions at a time where I am able to do so, so that when I'm unable to do so, my wishes are still known. This is a 5-county project. We're working with 4 other counties with the help of a consultant to get this up and running. And again, we're in the tail end of the contracts process on that. It's going to take a while for it to actually be something that we are able to use, because there are a million pieces and parts to it. But we're slowly edging forward. There's going to be, of course, a lot of education involved, because this is new. This would be a new piece to the California mental health system. So we're pretty excited that our little county is kind of on the front lines with all of that, and we'll be sure and be sharing more about that with all of you as more news becomes available. I'm hoping very soon. I believe that one, we're hoping that one goes to the board on February 8th as well. So that could be a big day for our Mental Health Services Act programs. Does anybody have any questions about either of those so far? Okay, hearing none.
Actually, this is
sorry,
Terry.
go ahead.
It's not so much a question, but I kind of just wanted to mention, and I can't recall if I've mentioned this in this meeting, but the area agency has access to iPad tablets for older adults to address isolation and loneliness. So I'm thinking about your Hope Park project, if it would be helpful to, when we do recruit the older adults to participate in this program, if it would be helpful to connect them with the area agency for the tablets. The only requirement is that they be a part of a program that's funded by PSA2, an Older Americans Act funded program, but we could, I mean, there are some that they could be participating in remotely, so it shouldn't be a problem, but I wanted to throw that out there. If you get to the point of this project and you're needing tablets and we're addressing loneliness and isolation, we might be able to partner in that effort.
That's a great idea and a very generous offer. Thank you so much. I will make sure that Mike, do you work with Michael Burke on other things?
No.
Okay.
Name doesn't sound familiar. No.
Okay, then I'll make sure and make that connection once we get a little bit closer.
Okay, sounds great.
That would be pretty fun. I can imagine the older adults taking the iPads home, and then maybe, you know, one of the kids FaceTimes them because they need help with their math homework or something. I think there are a lot of interesting, innovative things that we can do with that technology, especially if we have those little techno geniuses running around the center that can really show them how to use it. That would be kind of fun, I think.
Yeah, they do come, they're from AT&T, they're provided by AT&T through Department of Aging, and they come with a 2-year data plan, and they do come with instruction as well. They'll come with online and over the phone instruction to get them started. We're on hold with the project right now, although we do have the tablets in-house. Department of Aging is working on, there's a series of surveys to qualify the individual for the program, so they're still working on those details. So they're here, they're not activated yet, so we do have some time to find some individuals who might be interested in using them.
Okay, cool. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. And anybody who's on right now, if you think of other places that might be useful, reach out to Terry. That's fantastic. Thank you. So those are our main updates. Melissa, can you think of any other updates that we have for the group? Those are the ones that I've been working on.
No, I can't think of anything to add.
Okay. So Melissa Field, I don't know if you all recognize her name, but she's been with MHSA for a very long time. I call her my external hard drive because she remembers everything that's ever happened with the Mental Health Services Act in Shasta County. So I greatly appreciate her wisdom. And she and her team will be slowly taking over some more MHSA duties in the months to come. She was just promoted to program manager in the office of director. And she is very, very skilled and very knowledgeable about MHSA stuff in general. So you'll be seeing her face a little bit more frequently, I think. This is all a big group team effort, but she'll be taking the lead on some of these big guys. So with that, I was hoping that perhaps you all might want to share with us any of your hopes for the new year in terms of mental health programs. Is there anything that either is that you've seen gaps in services that we could maybe start thinking about or continue thinking about if it's something that we've been working on for a while? Of course, housing is a huge one. Speaking of housing, before we go to your hopes for the new year, think about your hopes, but I wanted to let you know that just this morning, the Board of Supervisors unanimously approved, and let me just tell you, those two words don't go together very often anymore, unanimously approved the No Place Like Home application that was by Christian Church Homes. It's a 59, it's a 60 unit. One of the units is for a house manager, but 59 apartments near, it's called Piper Way. It's kind of near the corner of Buenaventura and Placer, which is, as you know, close to a grocery store, a pharmacy, bus routes, and all of that. It would be for older adults, 62 and older. And of those 59 units, all of them are for older adults, but 6 of them are for older adults with severe and persistent mental illness, much like we have at the Woodlands, and we'll be providing supportive services to those 6 folks. That's, you know, just the things that help connect people with the services and the support that they need to be successful in that type of independent living situation. So it was, the group came to us in December. This is through No Place Like Home funding, which is MHSA funded, and it came to us in early December, and it's due, the application's due to the state tomorrow, and we thought there is no way that we are going to be able to manage that in 1 month with the holidays and people on vacations and all that kind of thing. And our director said, I know, and we need to do that. So we did it, and it's done. So yay for that. They do still need, of course, to submit the application and have it approved. But in the past, No Place Like Home funds, especially for counties in our category, the smaller county category, they're always undersubscribed. And so we're quite hopeful that, quite optimistic that the application will be approved and then we can move forward. And so that'll be 59 more people who are either, and they all also, sorry, in addition to being older adults, they need to be homeless, at risk of homelessness, or, you know, have a history of that. So, so that's 59 older people who are in an uncertain housing situation right now that will not be as soon as we can get that project up and built. It's being, it was proposed by, the company's name is Christian Church Homes. They run the Lorenz Hotel in downtown Reading, and a couple other Reading treehouse apartments up on Lake Boulevard. There's another one in downtown Reading whose name is escaping me. It's a common one. But they have a lot of history working with older adults in housing situations like that. So chipping away at that homelessness problem, one little batch at a time. So that was encouraging news for us all this morning. Okay, so now I'm ready for your hopes and dreams.
Carrie, I have a question real quick regarding that. Who's going to manage, like, I know NVCSS manages like the Woodlands and holds that contract for managing that. Who will be doing that with this project?
Sure, that's a great question. So with the Woodlands, there were 3 main players. There was Palm Communities, which was the developer, NVCSS, which is the service provider, and then Shasta County, which is also a service provider, a different supportive services. In this situation, it's just 2 of us. It's Christian Church Homes and it's Shasta County. So we're going to be providing all of the supportive services. Our adult services director felt like that was manageable because there are only 6 residents who would be receiving those supportive services. And she said it wouldn't be too difficult to incorporate that into the work that they already do. So and peer support specialists and all of that. Christian Church Homes will be providing other types of supportive services to the whole complex, all 59 people, even the ones who are not those 6. So they'll have an on-site manager, and they already do that, I guess, with the Lorenz and the other properties that they.
Okay, and so Shasta County will be the holder of that list, like a list on deciding who's going to get in of those maybe MHSA or those elders that have mental health challenges?
That's a great question. We will have a similar process to how we do with the Woodlands. And the memorandum of understanding is still in draft form, but Christian Church Homes, they're the property owner, like the leasing agent, if you will. And so they do all of the things like rent agreements and all of that work that we do not have expertise in. So we will be we'll be doing it together in terms of making sure that the people who are selected for housing are at least in our 6 units, and hopefully else. I mean, I'm sure that they're going to get their referrals largely from us, I would imagine anyway. But yes, we will be involved, but not making those decisions unilaterally.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about that? Okay, I'm ready for your hopes and dreams. Have you had enough time to think about your hopes and dreams for the new year, or what sorts of things that you would like for us to kind of keep in mind as we're getting ready to start planning our the little redesign thing that I showed you, our 3-year program and expenditure plan. We're starting our annual update process. We'll be bringing, I hope to bring a draft to you soon. It'll probably May. I can't remember. It involves a 30-day public comment process, and so it might be earlier that we have a draft for you. But we want to make sure that our annual update includes all the things that everybody wants to have included. So is there anything that you think that we should be sure to not overlook? I've got my notepad handy, ready to capture your wisdom.
This is Terry again with the area agency. And just for those that may not know, our agency, PSA2, Area Agency on Aging, serves older adults, provides funding for programs for older adults in a 5-county area. In Shasta County, we work with Dignity Health, Connected Living, Legal Services of Northern California, and other programs that are available for older adults. And along the line of isolation and loneliness for older adults, we circulate information with that's provided by the Institute on Aging. It's called the Friendship Line. And I'm hoping that Shasta County can help to promote that service. We have currently in Shasta County's senior resource directory that, at loss of her name, Marianne Seifert puts together. We have a full page on the Institute on Aging. It's called the Friendship Line, and it's a toll-free number that an older adult can call and talk to someone. They are skilled and trained individuals to converse with older adults, and there's a time frame that they can just randomly speak with them just to kind of pull them out if they're feeling low and lonely. So that's a really valuable program. We're actually hoping to our agency is hoping to work also with PBS, KIXE local station, to address loneliness and isolation for older adults in rural areas. So if we can talk about that or be a part of that or continue to address that challenge, I'd be happy to continue to work with you.
Awesome, that sounds fantastic. We have someone joining our community relations team in the next couple of weeks who's going to need some things to do, and that sounds like a really great project for that person to help do some of that promotion. So thank you for that. I'm jotting down your contact info so we can share it with her, probably not on her first day, but maybe her second. We figure you get the first day to be the new person, the second day you're going right to work. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Marcy, you look like you had something to share too.
sorry. Yeah, I have a slow connection. I was concerned about the AOT program. It was at Hill Country, and now I hear it's at Mental Health. And my daughter has fallen through the cracks, and she's not doing well at all. And I was hoping that there would be a transfer, but it doesn't seem that that happened. So is anybody reaching out to the old AOT clients, and how active is their program right now?
That is a good question, and I'm afraid that I don't know. I don't personally know the answer to that, but I can certainly get the answer for you.
Okay.
Bailey, you
I
don't
could
have.
probably comment on that, but I wondered if there was a plan, but that's not part of our what we're involved in, or
Not really, but we're all connected in, the mental health world, and many of our colleagues are involved in, other mental health types of things. So our adult services director, Paige Green, I remember hearing her speak about AOT at our last mental health, alcohol, and drug advisory board meeting, but I can't recall off the top of my head specifically what she said. I know that it was, like you said, it's shifting over, and it sounds like there might be a little bump in the road. So
I'll call. Yeah,
okay.
I'll just contact her then and get the information.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds
Thank
great.
you,
I'm sorry I
Carrie.
couldn't answer that question for you, but I know she'll be happy to do it. I believe that they're still trying to complete a contract with Kingsview to provide that service, but I'm not the expert on that, but it sounds like you've got the right connections with the right folks. And if you have any trouble getting a hold of anybody, just let me know and I can help make that connection too.
I have a connection.
Okay, you're cutting out a little bit, Marcy. Did you have anything else to share? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I know you said you had a slow connection. So if there was anything I missed, just go, you can either throw it in the chat or give me a call later if you want. That works great too. Any other thoughts on the new year? Any other hopes and dreams that you want to make sure that we have our attention focused on? Okay, we will move our tiny little group into open forum, and that's for you to just share anything you might have to share with the rest of us. Going once. Oh, Terry's right. Okay.
There I am. Let me get my camera going too. Is this about anything that we're working on? Okay. We have special funding from Department of Aging, and we are offering a Dignity at Home fall prevention program for older adults or disabled adults. And what we do is work with, they're in Reading with Everything Medical, and we can provide transfer benches, toilet seat risers, some equipment in the home, not the walkers and the canes, but other equipment that can be in the home to prevent an older adult from falling. And because we know that it can be very difficult and lead to very serious injury if an older adult it has a terrible fall. So you have my contact information if you know of anyone interested in the project, or if you would like some help us distribute some information cards on the project. It's no cost. Again, we work with Everything Medical, and we just do a brief evaluation. There is an income eligibility criteria, but moving forward, we've heard from Department of Aging that it will not be income based, and we'll be able to get this equipment out to older individuals and disabled adults to prevent falls in the home.
Terry, I had a question real quick. When you say disabled adults, is there a criteria? Do they have to be disabled through Social Security, or like I broke my leg and had to have lots of hardware put in? And I felt a little disabled, although I wasn't disabled through Social Security. I'm recovered now, but is there a criteria? I mean, what is for this program, the purposes of this program, what is the definition of disabled?
Well, the survey that, or the questionnaire, the assessment that we complete is if you've had a fall, if you've been injured by a fall. So as far as disabled, it's not really specific. And it could possibly be for someone with a temporary disability, certainly. But the equipment is delivered to your home from Everything Medical. And again, the criteria at this point, the program is income-based. So there's information, there are information cards I can get out to everyone too, if anyone wants to help circulate that for that program.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any things that anybody would like to share? All right, well, that is all I have for you today. I'm sorry we didn't have more folks around. I think I might not have done as good of a job at promoting this meeting and sharing that information with others as I thought that I did with the help of my team, but we'll bring you more folks next time. But it was nice to have those of you that are here today. So thank you for being here. You know where to find me if you have any questions, ideas, thoughts, anything like that. I'm here to help. So let me know how we can make your mental health services program better. And thank you all.
And Carrie, thank you. And I don't think it was not you getting the information out. I think we're also used to certain times. And I think typically this is like at 10 or 10:30. And I think that maybe was a little bit of it.
Yes, I think you're probably right. And we had to schedule, we didn't know when the Board of Supervisors was going to meet. They didn't vote on their calendar until January 4th. And I like to give people more notice than just a couple of weeks. So we I guessed that today was not going to be a board meeting day. And as you can see, I guessed incorrectly. So they ended up meeting today. But yeah, I figured I should probably put it in the afternoon just in case there was a board meeting, because sometimes people like to do both things. So, but yeah, do you guys like the morning better? I'm not going to tell you my bias, but yes, morning better.
Well, I'm retired now, so the afternoon works great for me. So.
Okay. We won't
No,
wake
I'm
you up
just kidding. Morning's good.
Miss
I'll
you,
just have my
Shannon.
coffee and make sure that the camera's off.
Perfect. That works for me.
Either time is fine.
Either time's good. Okay. Okay. And there have been times when we've done two. We did one session at 10 a.m. and one session at 2. I just didn't have the brain power to be able to do that this time, but maybe next time I'll be feeling a little bit more energetic. I think we're all pretty worn out right now. It's already only a couple weeks into the year and holy cow, ready for next year. So anyway, no, this is going to be a great year. Lots of big fun projects going on. So. All right. Well, congratulations, Shannon, on your retirement. That's awesome. And we'll try and keep you busy with helping us out, because we can always use a little bit more feedback and input and all that. So thank you. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And I will not tell anyone that this meeting got done early. So if you guys want to go and take a nap until 3:30, your secret is safe with me. All right.
Thank you, Carrie.
Take care, everyone. Good to see you.